Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, RINOs are dropping like flies. They are announcing their retirements because they know that the political climate within the Republican Party is shifting and that their brand of toothless, weak establishment conservatism is no longer popular. It doesn't work anymore. And these people mainly represent deep red districts. This isn't like they're in a district where Biden won by 5 points. Kay Granger, for example, and then we have Ken Buck out of Colorado. Both have decided to retire. Both are running in heavily Republican districts, and both have just gone off the rails lately. You have Ken Buck virtue signaling nonstop. He's flip-flopping all over the place. He's one of the people that voted to remove McCarthy. But on top of that, he's like not fond of any possible actual conservative replacement that was floated, to the point where he and Granger both held back the votes for Jim Jordan. And eventually we found Mike Johnson. He so far has done some promising things in terms of being an upgrade over Kevin McCarthy, which is a good thing, but still this notion that these people are in safe red districts and they're unwilling to like vote in somebody because, oh, they might be a little controversial, they might, be a little bit more outwardly MAGA compared to somebody else. It's just a big waste. And these people are in the club. They're a part of the Uniparty, and their voting records are more globalist on a wide variety of issues than most of these new Republicans that have been entering the House that have actually been relatively solid. And you are seeing a climate shift altogether. And the fact that you have these RINOs going out there and retiring is a very, very good thing. And it really, really just shows where the climate's shifting. Because if Kay Granger knew that she would be completely fine in a primary, she'd go out there, win the general fairly easily, you know that she probably would be running for re-election. She's been in politics for a very long time and is not exactly at the age where she is basically having to retire. You have a lot of people in Congress that can stay there well into their 80s and their 90s, but what is true is that she's got primary challengers. She's got a lot of people out there who would be able to take her head on, and because her record is so weak and it's kind of gone under the radar compared to these other people that we've gotten out of the way, she would not really stand that much of a chance. So already we're seeing this. This is great news. Also great news out of the state of Colorado as well. And we talk about primary challenges, and we talk about the need to create a primary target list. I've not fully created one yet. I think that there are some. Obviously, Newhouse from Washington still needs to go. He's one of those impeachment 10, and then we have a wide variety of other people. I think you could put somebody like Don Bacon on that list because he's probably going to lose re-election anyways if he gets to the general, and he's done nonsensical virtue signaling nonstop, and the House isn't really likely to come down to one seat. But you're talking about peeling away the layers. You've had the weakest RINOs, the Liz Cheneys, and the Mitt Romneys. They're already gone because Mitt Romney is retiring, and Liz Cheney has successfully been defeated in a primary challenge, to the point where now we're starting to look at what is in the Republican Party now. The Overton window shifting. Who are the people that are going to sit up here and virtue signal to the opposition? Who are the people that are going to hold back legislation that is good that we need to advance? These are the questions that really need to be answered, and I think you're seeing it right now, and even a lot of those people are stepping down. Kevin McCarthy is a primary challenger as well. He's got several, and how is that going to shake out? It's another question, because you're seeing a lot of these people that in the past we just regarded as generic. Now they're being regarded as the weak ones. They're showing their true colors because they can afford to be the weak ones. And as the party grows stronger, the weak ones are being left behind. And as a result, it's making the Republican Party stronger and stronger as a result, because the Republican establishment doesn't do anything except cave. That's all they do. They haven't really conserved anything over the past 50, 60 years, and that's really been what they've claimed to set out to do, but they don't. They just like to sit up there and act like they have principles and that they're respectable, but all that really means is just giving the unprincipled opposition literally every single thing that they want. You could look at the expulsion vote for George Santos, for example. Thankfully, George Santos was not removed. Thankfully, he wasn't. And we know that George Santos did lie about some things in his past, and that's why people want to remove him in the first place. But let's just look at the big picture here. This is Congress. Congress is full of liars. Santos, in a way, is kind of like the people's liar. And even before all this came out and he was running for election, I think I was skeptical of him because his past was incoherent in terms of ideology. But since he's been in Congress, he's been one of the most solid members in terms of voting record that the Republican caucus has. And on top of that, they have a fairly narrow majority. So why are you going to go out there and try to waste time, waste energy, instead of taking care of the American people? We have a lot of crises. We have inflation. The border's wide open. There's so many things going on right now in our country that need to be attended to. But what are Republicans doing? Quote unquote Republicans, these RINOs, they're announcing these resolutions in Congress to expel their most solid members in terms of voting record. And more Democrats actually voted to keep Santos in office than Republicans voted to remove him, which I think is absolutely hilarious, and it kind of shows how the center of gravity in the GOP truly is shifting. And like half of those Republicans are in districts that Biden won anyways, to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not going to say that excuses their vote because there's Republicans in Biden districts that didn't vote that way, but it shows that we are kind of taking out the trash in a lot of these areas where we can have these solid, authentic, America First Republicans in power. And you're seeing this here. Yes, a lot of Democrats likely did vote to keep him in office because they think he'd be like easier to beat than a generic Republican with all the so-called dirt that they've really got on him now. And I don't expect Santos to win re-election because of the fact that his district is heavily Biden, and you're not going to have Lee Zeldin at the top of the ticket to carry him to victory. But that's kind of missing the point, though. The bottom line is you don't need to be going out there and caving to the left. How many Democrats would vote to expel AOC, for example, or expel Ilhan Omar after all she's done? You would not see that there. The left typically tends to protect their own. So if they're going to be demanding that we remove our controversial people, but theirs are allowed to stay, it shows that the system is not exactly operating in quote-unquote principle. And a lot of Republican voters are waking up to this. A lot of Republican voters want leadership that stands up for the base. The Democrats will give all this pork to their base. In fact, Republicans are giving a lot of pork to the liberals and a lot of these major spending bills where they send all this money to Ukraine and they send all this money here for this liberal thing or for this leftist cause. But thankfully, you're seeing, even though I oppose foreign aid, you look at the recent foreign aid bill to Israel that the Republican Party's passing through, at least there's some positive conservative pork in there. For example, the IRS agents that McCarthy was allegedly supposed to get rid of but never did, now all the money that was supposed to go to having those IRS agents out there, the 87,000 harassing American citizens, that's now going to be gone. And obviously, it's not a perfect bill overall. We know that, but it was likely going to pass, and you still saw some positive things come out of it to the point where it's like, we need more of that. We need more of the good part. We need more positive legislation, positive action. And in order to get that, you're going to have to get rid of these people. You're going to have to get rid of the Ken Buck who's crying tears over the fact that, oh, I can't vote for Jordan. He voted to object back in 2020. He's a bad guy, even though he voted for Johnson, who did the same. But Ken Buck's had a lot of disastrous votes recently, and he's just coming apart at the seams, and he is nowhere near as, relatively okay as maybe he once was. And maybe that's relativism because the whole GOP is improving, and you could largely attribute a lot of that to Trump and his movement. But still, either way, he's got to go, and he's going to go. He's not running for re-election. He is far past his prime. Hopefully you can get a solid America First conservative in there, because it is a R+20 district. And of course, you're going to have these people saying, well, we don't need to run any risks or whatever. But in reality, it's like, seriously, enough with the whole electobro logic. If you're running in like a toss-up district or whatever, and you're somebody who is a candidate with a good ideology who's not able to get any funding, that's a little bit different from somebody who's running in a safe red district. It doesn't matter. But either way, Kay Granger, also a complete and total dinosaur. She's out of the way. That's a good thing. A Trump plus 20 district should have somebody that votes like they're from a Trump plus 20 district. And as a result, I think you're going to get it. So the GOP is changing. We're seeing positive things take action. It's going to be very important ahead of the 2024 election, because if you do get a second Donald Trump term, you need a Republican Party that's a lot more willing to work with him than the first Donald Trump term. And it seems like you have a better Speaker of the House. A lot of these RINOs that were in power, they are leaving. They're going. They're out the door. And if you're going to control Congress, which I think if the presidency goes red, Congress will narrowly go Republican. You're going to need people in Congress that aren't going to exactly be these RINOs that are backstabbing, and you're going to need people in there that are going to go out there and support Donald Trump's agenda to make sure we can get things done and save this country. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle out.